Hey everybody, it's Paul again. I have another Kenwood product for y'all today. It's the Kenwood DNX692. This is a navigation radio. It starts off at $8.99, as well as a 2-year warranty. This one's got LG Bluetooth, which supports A2DP, aptX, and SPP. Also, it's got Pandora with iHeartradio for both Android and iPhone. It's got audio. It's got maps here. It's HD radio ready. It's also HDMI/MHL ready as well for true mirroring for compatible phones. Let's see. I'm trying to think what else it has. Always got a 13-band equalizer with time alignment for the digital sound processing, or DSP, and as well as app mode with with a cable and the right phone and stuff. So anyway, I probably skipped a ton of features, and this may end up being a longer video than normal, so I'm going to go through all the features, and I guess while editing the video I may have to split it into two, so if I do, I'll post the second part, here, a link to it. So anyway, let's go ahead and open the box. Let's see what's on the inside, then we'll go from there. Digging into the DNX692 box, open up the flaps. First thing to come to is the power wiring harness. Looks like the navigation antenna with a little sticky pad on it. Here's the microphone for the Bluetooth. And here is looks like the parking brake wire and the reverse wire for reverse cameras and parking brake switches. A little plug-in for that. The next thing I see is caution for you smartphone users. Notice here with some screws. Also, there's an instruction manual, and I'm sure there somewhere is the warranty card. And this is also a plate that you can stick the antenna for and mount it on the dash of your car. And let's see, open up the flap, and inside the flap is a trim ring, as you see right here. A little trim ring to hide all the edges of the radio. And let's go ahead and dump this out. Ah, cool. Alright, I don't know if you can see it. There's nothing else in the box. Kind of flaps going everywhere. Got some styrofoam and other styrofoam. The radio's a nice little baggie. And as usual, they got this little plastic screen protector, which I never can seem to peel it off without tearing it in half. Looks like a one-time deal, apparently. Oh well, this one I'm pulling off. Here's the cage, just for custom installations. Most kits nowadays don't require the cage, but just in case. Alright, we finish peeling this off. Ah, it's gonna go. Alright, we got the radio. It does have I don't know if I mentioned before, but it has a 6.2-inch WVGA touchscreen. And so anyway, let's go ahead and get it mounted up, and we'll see what's going on back here. And then we'll get it powered up, and we'll see what's on the inside. Alright, we got it turned backwards here. Backwards. As usual, we'll start from this side and work our way to the right-hand side. The first thing you see is this little port right here. This is for the HDMI MHL input. This is where you plug it in. If you can see inside, there's a little HDMI port in there. Right directly next to it, this is the microphone input. This is where you plug your microphone, your Bluetooth mic, into here. Straight down, they got the audio video out, audio right here. So that way you can have maybe a screen somewhere else that has little speakers in it. And directly underneath it is the antenna plug-in. You might need some adapters for your antenna. Alright, back over to here, these two little yellow doodads. One is, if I can turn it around so you can read the things. One is video out, and the other one is review camera. And this is, the video out for the audio out, so you can actually have video on those screens as well. And the rear view camera plug-in, this is if you have the optional rear view camera, it'll send the signal that's wired into the radio and show you what you're backing into. Directly underneath you got rear, front, and subwoofer 5-volt pre-outs. All Kenwood X-Line screens have 5-volt pre-outs. So you can have like a subwoofer amp, two channel amps, 2 channel amp, 4 channel amp, 5 channel amp, you know, or a combination thereof. Directly to the right of it, this is the EXT-I/F input. This is the input for like Sirius XM, so you can use that to get Sirius XM later on if you wanted. Directly above this is where the GPS antenna plugs into. It plugs in, snaps, and you run the antenna, you know, where it catches most of the sky. Here's a huge fan to keep the whole radio cool. Over here, we get these cords out the way. This is right here is the iPod/AV input, so you have to purchase a little cord right here to get AV in, or if you have an iPhone or iPod, you use a special cable to plug in here as well. This other port and this port right here, the round one and this little rectangle one, this is for the iData Maestro harness. And what you do is after you plug it in here, you wire up, program and wire the iData Maestro, and it plugs into your OBD2 port and shows like gauges and tire pressure, sensor, you know, stuff like that on your screen, as well as keep maybe your Sirius XM or XM whatever, satellite radio, and factory Bluetooth, you know, to show up on the radio as well. Not every car has those available. Mostly some of the newer stuff does. So you can go to idatalink.com/maestro. That's MAE-stro, and look up and see if your vehicle is compatible or not. I guess we'll go and finish over here directly to the right. This is where the parking brake wire and the reverse wire plug will plug into right here. This top cord, it's like it's tangled, but I can fall down. This is your USB. It has like a little cap. Pull it off, and you got your USB, or if you're not using it, just put the cap back. That kind of keeps the dust out of it. The cord underneath it is, if you can read it, but this is your iPhone/iPod USB, which probably goes in hand to hand with this little port right here and this right here. So these are 2 USB ports, but this is for the iPhone or iPad, and the first one's, you know, pretty much for anything like WMA, MP3, AAC, or FLAC formats. And last but not least, directly underneath it, this is the power plug with a 10 amp fuse here and here. And that's all for the back of the radio. Like for, I guess I turn around, you see this little screw right here. This pulls this little panel off, so you can actually plug in, because you know those HDMI cables have a big end on them. So what this does is you pull this little piece off with the screw, plug it in, and you put this little cap back, and it helps support the back end of the HDMI cable. You can keep it from, you know, bending the insides or breaking off altogether. Alright, so that's pretty much everything for the back of the radio. I want to turn it around, and we're going to power it up, and I guess get all those juicy insides. Alright, we got it booting up here. It's Exelon guidance by Garmin, so it's all software driven, so there's no extra DVDs or CDs you got to carry with you. And let's give it a second to finish booting up. I got the little trim ring on here. Still booting up, taking a little bit apparently. I guess we're waiting for it to boot up. The trim ring has a nice flat black look to it. It's got a sensor eye. Here's the Kenwood logo, which also serves as a reset switch. The CD button right here to eject CDs or DVDs, and here's the CD/DVD slot. I guess while that's an initial, this is the first screen that comes through the initial setup. You got if I can get it up there. Locale, United States. I guess depending on which country you're in, you got a place to select it. Language, American English. You can select that too. Color. It says panel color coordinate or panel color scan, which is this is the panel right here. And right now it's just scanning to the colors, or you can turn it off, and you can actually go into here and actually tell, you know, which color you want. You also got presets. You can go to adjust and actually dial in the RGB input. And I think it's from 0 to come on. See how high it goes. Alright, so 0 to 31 for a value. So if you know the correct value for the color that you want, you can dial it in. Go ahead and preset out of here. And back out of here. And if you want to change the color, you just turn off the panel color skin and click on set, and then it'll go from there. So anyway, go back out of that. Camera, you go into here. R-cam interruption, if you want the when you put in reverse, it'll interrupt whatever screen that you're looking at. Parking lines, some cameras come with their own parking lines, they can't be turned off. So if you want to use the radio's parking lines, you can, or you can turn them off to use the camera's parking lines. Guideline setup, if you go into adjust, you can actually adjust the width and the height, and you know, however you see it, you can adjust the way the parking lines show. Parking assist display, that's probably part of the iDynamic Maestro and position. So we're going to go out of here and so color, camera, OEM setup. If we had the iDynamic Maestro plugged in, it will pop up with that. Demo, we're going to go turn demo mode off and hit finish. Alright, this is the main screen, but before I go into that, I'm going to finish working my way around the radio. Over here past the CD DVD, we got the Exelon, which actually goes into a nice piano finish or glossy black actual face. We got DNX692, Sirius XM ready, which means it doesn't come with Sirius XM, but you can buy a module for it. HD radio, Kenwood, HDMI, MHL for compatible phones, then Bluetooth. And over here we got the home button, which also serves as a power button. The navigation button, or nav, and if you press and hold it down, it'll actually turn on the audio video output, so you can have multiple screens hooked up. Underneath this is telephone for voice, and voice is for Siri for your iPhone. So in order for you to have voice control, you're going to have an iPhone, and it will contact Siri, and you can tell Siri what to do by holding it down. The volume knob, I don't have it on I guess I'll just put it on HD radio for right now, so you can see the volume knob working. See it right there. This button, it has two functions. If I just tap on it, brings you to the menu. But if I hold it down, it actually turns on the camera, which there's not one, so it's not going to show anything. So, alright, we're back to radio. And if you just tap on it, it shows you the screen adjustment, display off, camera, setup, audio, and HD radio. And down here, before I do any of that, this is the SD card for Garmin. So there is an SD card in there, but it's still software driven, so you don't need an actual disc or CDs. But the micro SD card might be a little bit small, and you might lose it. So anyway, back to the radio. Got your FM1, FM2, 3, 4, and 5. And I believe these are probably preset stations. Got 10, 15. Alright, so we got, well, trying to see, looks like we're trying to 15 FM preset stations, and AM looks like just 5. Yeah, Alright, so we're getting back out of that. That's your preset stations. Well, and the radio is locked up, I guess. Alright, radio. Come on. Okay. Let's say we're on station. I'm kind of figure this out as we go. 90.7, and I think if you want to, I'll take it. 90.4. I think if you hold it. Yeah, so if you press and hold it, just like any preset buttons that are preset your stations. Search, if you want to search your preset list, or if you want to search your channel list, or bookmark, that's what the search is for. Channel up and down, AM, FM, music back and forth. I'm trying to close this out. Now we're in navigation zones. Back out of here. This is the main home screen. As you see, you got 3 pages. We got navigation, iPod, telephone for talking, HD radio, app mode for certain vehicle phones, Pandora, iHeart, and it works for all new phones, and a little spectrum analyzer. The next middle screen, we have disc, USB, SD card, Sirius XM, which is ready. It don't come with Sirius XM built into it. And then HDMI/MHL plugins for compatible phones. Here's Bluetooth audio, Alpio, however you pronounce it, and OEM features. That's what the little cord was doing, is working. Cord. Yeah, the special cord you got to purchase for your phones, and also for the HDMI and MHL, and for the OEM features, you got to purchase the iData-Link Maestro harness in order for these to start popping. These are your vehicle's information screens, not just from radio. All right, so we can back out. Oh well, howdy there. All right, so I said HDMI, OEM features, audio setup. We'll come back to those here in a few minutes. The last screen is video and standby. So, go back to the first one, see anything new. We got navigation. I'm going to click that. This actually tells you where you're going, where you're heading. I believe you're going to here. Yeah. And I think, you can type in where to. Use an address or a restaurant's name. Or, gas station's name. You can also search different places in the town that you're in, which is pretty cool. Keeps taking me there. I'll do that in just a second. iPod, you pretty much don't know how that works. Bluetooth, that's for the hands-free phone calls. When they talk, it comes out your front speakers, and or by changing them to all. That way you can listen to somebody talking, or Bluetooth music. You listen to everything playing all the time. Normally nowadays, Kenwood is finally let it stay on all, so just front. The next step, we got HD radio. All it does is look for the HD radio, and if it has it, start playing, which is CD quality music played over the broadcast waves. If it doesn't have it, it'll automatically switch over to analog, which gives you just normal radio stations. You may or may not have static, just depends. Here's Pandora and iHeartradio, which works for both Androids and iPhones. And we got app mode. You got like your device or connection type. That's however you want to the radio to see. If you go to change, like for Androids, and then some sort of connection from the Android to the radio itself, which is pretty neat. And we click done. it's everything in that part. Of course, then it'll pop up apps. HD radio, and which is also regular radio as well, but CD quality. More and more stations are starting to show up. In fact, the local station here decided to get it about a month ago, so that's good for them. Then we got Pandora, which is iPhone or Android looking connection, and then iHeartradio as well. Pandora and iPhone as well for that. Over here we got disc, USB, SD card, Sirius XM. Usually mileage. The price for those usually run around $99.95. They get Bluetooth, so if you want to listen to your Bluetooth music while you're driving, you can turn that on. Audio, I'm not sure what that is. I haven't had a chance to mess with that, so it's a premium service. OEM features, that's where you plug the ODBT2 port in from in order for the radio to see elements or whatever your radio or vehicle's doing. Audio, going to here is like a whole other section. Audio control, and this is like your fader and balance. You can actually just click where you want it and automatically stick it there. Volume offset, subwoofer level. You can actually turn this up to whatever you want to for that. If you want to turn a little bit of bass boost, give it a harder hit. That's what bass boost is for. You don't have to use all of it. You don't need to. Equalizer. Equalizer, of course, there's some factory presets: natural, rock, pops, easy, top 40, jazz, and so forth and so on. And if you get the user, click on it. And anyway, click on EQ. So EQ, you got 13-band equalizer, and you just click where you want your settings. You meant to go there and kind of fine tune it, depending on how your speakers are reacting to it and everything. You can also kind of dial in if you don't want to feel like touching. And of course you got loudness, which is low, high, and high. Subwoofer level, you can actually turn the how loud you want the subwoofer as well as in here. And app mode, which of course will be something totally different after that. But this is pretty cool, 13-band equalizer. That way you can really, dial in some sound. Zone control. This kind of gives you a single zone or dual zone, and usually dual zone gives you more stuff to work with. Front source apps, rear source video, and you got the volume going for you as well, making that cool. Sound effect. I'm clicking on it. Apparently it's not hooked up. Maybe I'm gonna work with that parking brake wire. Alright, under setup we got system, display, source, camera, software, navigation, audio, video out, and Bluetooth. So we're going to click system, and we got system interface. Do you want everything to beep? What language it is? The text scroll if you want to do it once, or auto, or just nothing at all. Any animations are secondary. If you want them to play, it will. And of course demo mode is off. On down as far as I can go. I'll back out of that. Next is touch. This is where you can calibrate the screen for different size fingers. If you need to, just make sure your screen's still working, you can do that. Security. You turn it off or on. Just leave it on to be fine. That's not too many features there. And then set up memory. Would you like to memorize or recall the audio and video setup? That way you can have it preset in case they have to change the battery under the hood. It's all for the system menus. Next is display. We got color. Apparently it's one of those colors that works over here. And give me a different color I don't need. And background. These are probably blacked out because the parking brake wire is not engaged, but You can change the background color. If you have like a thumb drive with a picture on it, you can use those as your own background. And then change standby source. Back out of that. Next is source, and we got DVD, iPod, app setup, USB setup, SD setup, AVN setup, and you said depending on which one you want to go in there, you want to make some changes. Here's one that's if we could click on USB setup, if it let me load it up. Yeah, so we click on that. On-screen USB, yes or no. Picture, display time, yes or no. You can do all that as well. Camera. Are camera interrupting? Yes. Parking guidelines, on or off, depending on if your camera comes with parking brake lines or not. Parking assist display, parking assist position. Software. This is where you can do some updates. You can go to kenwoodusa.com and see if there's an update for this particular radio. And if it does, you can print out the instructions and then follow the instructions after that on updating the firmware. Navigation, go into here. Navigation interrupt speaker. You got front left, front right, or front all. Navigation voice, you can tell her to be quiet or get a little louder. And navigation mood if she talks too much. Next number is AV out. It also tells you what kind of video you want AV out, like a thumb drive video or online video or something. And Bluetooth. Go into Bluetooth. Let's see. Not find anything right now because I don't have my phone turned on. But you have your choice of pin codes or changing the pin codes, telephone setup, and then back out of that since nobody's calling me on that. But of course, in Bluetooth, you go in and you can set the pin codes, telephone setup. If you go into here, Bluetooth audio or 8 hands-free audio is on all. If you put it on front, just the front speakers will play. Auto response, let's see how high that goes. It goes to 3, 4. Well, scroll down. Get away from me. Well, it's going to keep going. How far is it going to go? Anyway, auto response, auto pairing, off or on. Phone information use, if you want to use like your database or stuff like that. Sort order, echo level. If you get a little bit of echo on your microphone, you can adjust this and maybe kind of take it out. Microphone level, if you kind of juice it up, give you a stronger signal so the other people can hear you talking. And noise reduction, if you have like a lot of wind noise or other noises, you can kind of adjust that on the microphone as well. And that's everything from Bluetooth setup. That's everything for the actual setup. Let me go into navigation. That's probably the most thing there. So you can grab the screen and move stuff over. I think I clicked on something. It looks like it's a little delay on there. Let's see. We click on layers. I think that's what that is. Come back. Different screen settings. You got the actual map on one side, and probably music or stuff playing over here. Click those little 3 lines right there. You can stop your detour or your route. You can have a detour if you go to like a bridge that's being worked on. Exit services. Exit services are only available on major highways. Where am I? Of course, I don't have the antenna hooked up right now, so it's not going to tell me where I'm at right now. But it'll give you your nearest location, nearest address, and kind of zoom in on where you're at the moment. And there's also hospitals. If you need a hospital, of course, I don't have the antenna plugged in, so it's just finding the local hospitals of where this radio is made, like in Chicago, Illinois. Let's see, where's that? Let's see here. We was there. Where am I? I got trip computer. Go into here, you can tell how many miles you were, how fast you're going. Trip B, your max speed, average miles per hour, overall miles per hour, probably the fastest. How many times you stop, how long you're moving. Kind of like a nice log system there. Back out. Map layers. Places along the road, traffic, trip log. You can take those off or on. Cancel. Of course, back to that thing again. And over here is at where to. This is where you can set your destination. You can go home. You go to an address just by typing it in. You can spell the city. Let's say I want to go to Dallas. So we type in Dallas, A-L, and you got several Dallases here. You got Dallas City, Illinois, in Illinois. So apparently you have to get out of the state first. So we go to state. We go to say Texas. Done. Now it's looking up Texas. Find that. Now spell city. Now if we go to Dallas, it should hopefully Dallas, Texas. Here we go. So we go Dallas or Dallas Fort Worth. House number. I don't know. Of course, I don't know the house number, so I was going to guess. Let's see, 525. And street. I have no street name idea, so I'm just saying Metro. I don't know if there's even a Metro in there. Metro Boulevard, okay. There is a Metro Boulevard in Dallas, Texas. So I'm just going to pick 11900 Metro Boulevard. I have no idea where that's at, where it's going, what's going to be there when I get there. It might be just a cliff. I don't know. Anyway, you click go. It will map your route. And of course, it's located in the GPS satellite, so it'll know where I'm at to start the map routing. Stop that. Go back into settings here at Eco Route. This also lets you set up your vehicle profile. Do you use unleaded, diesel, or ethanol? Fuel economy 25. The city, and let's say 330. Highway. Fuel price per gallon, $8 a gallon. Just guessing, I don't know. Use at the pump page to maintain fuel acquisition values. And you get at the pump, you can actually type in how much the price was, how much fuel is used, how much distance traveled, and it gives you average amounts. Eco challenge, fuel economy. Fuel used per gallon, average fuel economy. Cost of fuel, so it gives you a little bit of information on all that. Vehicle profile, mileage report. Of course, this is after you use the map several times and put all the information in, and it kind of keeps track of all that. Kind of if you need it, like for business use or just for personal use as well. And then apps, like I said, this is outside of the navigation. I didn't went through all the navigation settings. And like I said, you'll need a proper cord for your Android or iPhone in order for the apps to work. I think that's pretty much everything. Video and standby. Standby is of course like a all feature. Bluetooth, RPO setup. I don't want all of those. They're probably all the rest of them are pretty much basic features. iPod control, Android control, HD radio. Pandora, iPhone, iHeartradio for iPhone or Androids, and that's pretty much it for $8.99. You get a lot of features out of this radio, and I can't seem to find anything else. But it is real nice, 6.2-inch touchscreen. At first it was kind of slow, but then it's kind of got responsive. So anyway, I can't find anything else to talk about. Alright, that was the Kenwood DNX692 navigation radio with 6.2-inch screen, $8.99 with a 2-year warranty. Got lots of features in there, 13-band equalizer, of course with navigation, in-reach traffic for 2 years free, MP3 WMA AAC flag control, you know, on the, or flag support with the, on the USB, you know, CD, DVD, HDMI, MHL for compatible phones, for true mirroring, and lots of other features. If I had a compatible phone, I would make a video on that. Apparently my phone's a bit too old in order to have that particular feature, but anyway, if you're looking for a navigation radio with lots of features, but well, at a lower cost, it's probably this one right here. Like I said, it's $8.99. Anyway, if you have any questions down below, just listen in the comments down below, hit thumbs up, like, and this is Paul. I appreciate y'all watching. You have an awesome day, and please subscribe.